Hello. This short video will introduce you to the idea of backwards design for planning your course. It is called backwards design because, as the arrow suggests, you begin with the end in mind and then sort of mindfully reverse engineer the process to ensure that the first steps you eventually take will get you going in the right direction. First of these three steps is defining your goals. The second, you design assessments to help you measure how well your students are reaching those goals, not just at the end of the semester, but throughout the semester. And only thirdly do you plan your instruction, which you design to help your students succeed on the assessments. Beginning with goals, you take some deep thinking time to step back and take a bird's eye view of your course. You deal with the big goals question. What do you really want your students to accomplish in your course? Now, curriculum experts agree that course goals do three things. They determine the most important understandings, attitudes, and abilities to be developed in your course. They provide a rational framework for your unit planning, and they really include the must-haves for your course. Now, there are three kinds of goals: concepts, the big ideas and most important supporting facts in your subject area; skills and habits, research, communication, and thinking skills needed in your subject area; established procedures, protocols, and routines; and attitudes and values, things like curiosity, wonder, creativity, and so on. These are the things that academia highly values and society itself values as well. Moving on to assessments, recall that the assessments are designed to show how well your students are achieving your major course goals. So they have to be tightly tied together. And this tight connection is something that frequently gets lost in the rush of daily teaching duties. So it is important to intentionally keep it in the front of your mind. Imagine that this yellow rectangle represents the field of your course goals. Now imagine that the white shapes represent your assessments. Within this metaphor, note two things. All of the white assessments reside completely within the yellow field of the goals. None of the assessments stray outside of the field defined by the yellow course goals rectangle. 2. Note also that the white shapes are all different shapes and sizes. Now, this is a fundamental characteristic of good assessment. It includes numerous, frequent, varied assessment devices to assess your students authentically. And finally, on to instruction. Once you've got your course goals set and chosen your assessment devices, only now is it time to start planning your actual instruction. Always make sure that your teaching is designed to help your students succeed on the assessments you design. This requires a fundamental framing of your students as your collaborators, not your adversaries. Now, this might feel radical because the Academy has a centuries-long history of thinking of students as some sort of sketchy outsiders trying to storm the gates of a privileged place. And this has led to a mindset of weeding them out, so to speak. But we now realize that this mindset is harmful and outdated, and university teaching needs to be reframed. We need to think of our students as our collaborators, not as our adversaries. We've also been conditioned to think of teaching as lecturing. We talk, the students listen, take notes, study, and write tests. But we need to reframe teaching as lessons, which are designed using the input-process-output model shown here. It's a very reliable and well-established lesson design and planning process. For us, it's simply, first, give them something to read, to hear, or to view. This is your content. Secondly, give them something to think about or talk about. This is the cognitive processes that you want them to apply to your content. And thirdly, give them something to do. This doing brings purpose to their reading, listening, viewing, thinking, and talking. It helps them to internalize the content and to come to appreciate its relevance. Fortuitously, it also produces artifacts that you can use to assess authentically how well your students are reaching your goals. So to review and summarize, the backward design process has you start by defining your most important course goals. Then you design an array of varied assessments to match these goals. And then you plan your teaching to help your students succeed on the assessments you have chosen. We encourage you to use this simple and elegant process for planning your remote teaching experience. It will bring maximum satisfaction to both you and to your students. Thank you.
For more information and lots of practical ideas, go to our UR Courses Guides page at this link, shown at the bottom of this slide. Use the live buttons within the blue squiggle that we've added to this screenshot to navigate to the resources that most interest you as you move to remote teaching. This video was brought to you by Flexible Learning's Remote Learning Team. We are here to help.